How agonizing was that fourth quarter comeback going into overtime?
It was pretty agonizing, but it was better than the alternative, I guess. It wasn't nearly as agonizing as the first three quarters. I thought we were just all sorts of out of whack. I mean, it was pretty ugly. And then all of a sudden, it's like someone flipped a switch, and like all of a sudden we just started to play in the fourth quarter. It's almost like we got to have some sort of a challenge ahead of us in order for us to kind of snap into shape and start playing the right way. So it was good. I'm happy.
Can you discuss the decision to pull Juwan Staten like midway through the third? He didn't return at all. Can you discuss why that is, or what the reasoning behind that was?
Well, I thought having a little bit more length on the floor with Verdell was going to help, and it did. That group ended up going on a little bit of a run, and I kind of said, screw it, I'm going to roll with this crew, and that's the way it went.
What changed defensively in the fourth quarter?
We started talking, we started switching everything, 1 through 4, and we made it difficult for them to penetrate, get into the paint, and then we started boxing out, rebounding. Their second chance opportunities went way down in the second half, I thought. And we had active hands. We were forcing turnovers. I mean, anytime you force a team into 26 turnovers and you go to overtime, there's probably some weird stuff going on. And the weird stuff was a bad first half and bad third quarter. So
I don't know how you can really explain this, but this usually isn't a good free throw shooting team. But Elliott Williams 13 for 13, Darrington Hobson 10 for 10, 87%.
I know
for the team. Your thoughts?
It's amazing. I told the team when we went into overtime, I said, you guys got a weird way of doing things, and that's part of the oddness. I mean, I think we've had some games where we've shot 50% from the free throw line. And it's a mental thing, and I made sure that every one of these guys shot 100 free throws during our off week. And I'd love to say that did something, but it probably didn't. It was probably just percentages writing themselves out.
You described last night's transition defense as 7th grade basketball. How would you describe it tonight?
I thought it was 8th grade in the first half, and then it was professional in the second half. I thought, but we were more aggressive. We were more assertive getting into the paint. We didn't give them opportunities to get out and run in transition as much. So it was a little bit of both there, but we just snapped into shape at the right time.
You mentioned everything felt off. It seemed like spacing was off between the bigs and the guards, at least in the first half on the picks, and trying to find the spacing, I guess, on the corners. Why is that an issue, you say, tonight, especially on the back-to-back?
Well, I think a little bit of it had to do with Darrington coming back. I think a little bit of it has to do with, Elliott and Darrington want to lead the break when they get rebounds or they get outlet passes. And Juwan, I'm trying to get him to fill his lane when that happens. Because at the end of the day, all three of those guys, in our system, those positions are basically interchangeable. Aside from a couple of sets we run, and I think the spacing was just kind of messed up because those guys were like when Elliott came down and jumped up in the air and tried to throw that jump pass to Darrington. I think that's when it kind of peaked out. That's when it was at its worst. And it took everything in me not to call timeouts and try to micromanage the situation and just let them iron it out. And I think at the end of the day, by doing that, we allowed them to have a good experience as a team, figuring things out on their own to a certain extent, which I thought was beneficial.
Verdell Jones strung together several games, solid games. Do you think he's earned a starting spot after the way he's performed, maybe in that point guard position?
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a discussion. I mean, after what he's done. I'm not one to try to disrupt any kind of chemistry or anything. He's been doing that in the starting lineup, off the bench. And it just kind of depends on where we need our scoring to come from. And at this point, with our lineup the way it is, I would kind of prefer him coming off the bench because I know at this point he's kind of becoming a sure thing. And having a sure thing on the bench is really nice.